Howdy, folks. You're listening to Demon Days, an actual play podcast with a focus on fiends and the friends who play them. Wanted to give a quick shout out to KiloWhat, who does the artwork for our show. Amazing as always. Go check out her stuff. All the important links will be in the show description. And then I also wanted to point out that we have a Discord where all of us hang out, have a great time talking about all things nerdy, all things tabletop. There's something there for everyone. So come hang out with us. We can't wait to see you there. Let's get on with the show, shall we? Hey there. I'm here to deliver this alchemical jug to the bullywug. I was told he would be here telling all sorts of crazy stories. No, you just missed him. Oh, well, that's a real shame. 'Cause, you see, I think this thing is really important to him or something. You could always just wait here till he comes back. I guess so. In the meantime, can you tell me what I missed? What kind of stories is he telling these days? Well, last time the bullywug was talking to us, he mentioned something about the one named Taslinn, and then the other one named Fetter. They were up on some sort of rooftop, getting all smoochy smooch. And then there was one called Yewsiff, and I guess he was visited by like, a bird or something. Sounded kind of weird. I don't think the bullywug knows what a raven sounds like. Let's see, what else? Taslinn almost encountered one of her friends or something. I don't know. And then he said something like, blah, 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 these demon days. Taslinn, Yewsiff, Fetter, you make your way back to your room in the Nestled Rest. Another moment to yourselves to come together to plan for the day. It is pretty early in the morning, like 7-ish, 7 a.m., and the day is just starting. The streets are just getting busy. The weather's pretty good today, so you have quite the opportunity for shenanigans.
I finish whatever is left of my breakfast.
I pull the folio out and flip through all these work orders and try to quickly next to Wrath, I'm gonna try to punch the old ticket for the last one I just did, and I'm gonna try for gluttony too, because we're shooting the moon, gang. We're going for all 7, so I'm gonna see if I can pass both of those on this little checklist here, and we'll just call that.
Okay. You'll probably get an immediate acknowledgement of the Wrath one,
right,
and more of a ... for the...
Oh, come on.
And you know that for some of this that skirts the edge of it,
yeah, they're gonna have to...
Tiamek and crew are gonna have to figure out the iron, like, if it'll work. Listen, or break the thing.
I'm cleaning up this entire goddamn town for them. The least they could do is cut me some goddamn slack.
There's no way to clean up this entire town.
Well, I mean, just as far as this stack of bullshit I've been handed. All right, gang. Well, good morning, Yewsiff. I mean, Ravens aside, decent evening. Sorry to leave you all by yourself for the night.
You know what? I was starting to get a little worried because I hadn't heard from y'all, but I figured it would be okay if I just had some food, waited.
Sure.
And it was.
Ta-da! Here we are.
Some strange undead bird talking to me, but it all worked out.
Well, gang, I certainly don't want to hog all of our time here in the city. There's obviously large, big picture things we have to discuss, but I also have this stack of bullshit to work through. So, what are our thoughts for the day? Anything exciting to get to? I'm itching maybe to fuck around with House Temper, but open to suggestions.
I need to check on some things, and I pull out my crystal ball.
Here we go.
Gotta do our lovely scry.
Well, this will take a second.
Ooh, burning spell slots in the morning?
At will, baby.
Oh, well, then, yeah, let's go.
Down, baby.
Then Fetter just lays down on the bed, kicks his feet up.
Yeah, it's gonna be at least half an hour, because I'm doing 3 of them.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness.
I'm like,
lays his head
oh
down.
yeah. I'm like, I was like, we didn't get. I'm gonna go get some coffee and some muffins and enjoy that, and I'll be back. Unless there's anything you want me to put eyes on too.
Nope. I mean, I'm sure it'll be entertaining, but you don't need to be here.
Okay. All right. Breakfast for us.
Okay. You, Feder and Yewsiff, are just doing like a breakfasty thing.
Well, no, it's just
already
me.
ate.
Yeah,
you are
he
getting,
already
so it's
ate.
just you. So are you going out or are you staying in?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go downstairs and
Okay.
grab some shit.
Yeah, it's still Eloy down there, in a little bit better spirits with the coffee situation. And yeah, she's happy to help you out there.
I'm gonna sit near Taslinn, not like intrusive or anything, but I want to make sure she's within the 10 feet thing. And I'm gonna pull my sword out and just have it in my hands
Okay.
so that she gets the benefits of the magical protection. If there's any backlash or anything from what she's trying to do, since we are here in the town now, if someone's trying to like counteract anything, I want to be able to buff her with whatever I can if she needs the help.
Okay. That should be good. So Taslinn, who are we scrying first? As you get the crystal ball out and you set a nice little place. Now that you have a nice place to set it, it's kind of make a nice little display here for this.
I don't know if I'd set it down. I think I'd totally just like
Hold on to it still?
I'd labyrinth it up with some like David Bowie in the hand, you know?
Yeah, just juggling one giant ball in your hand.
Yeah, we'll do fuckhead dad first.
Oh boy. Fuckhead dad.
Oh, there's lots of names for him.
Okay.
Remember, he's negative 15.
Right. Let's roll it anyways. Blech. Like negative 12. Jesus Christ. Okay. The cloud in this crystal ball that you've come to know so well and get used to swirls a bit, agitates as it tries to find the signal for your fuckhead dad. And it does. It makes purchase. You come into this very pillowed room that looks like a tent of some kind, and you see a few people passing by through, like you see shadows passing through different parts of the tent as if there's activity beyond it. And you see Cheshire in kind of a post-coital situation with
Fucking course.
someone who seems to be transforming into a more basic grayish version of themselves. They seem to change from what you would see your father's ideal to be, which is apparently red-headed, pale-skinned people, down to a more gray-skinned, light gray-skinned, whiter hair, changeling almost. You would have heard of them and know of them from your time in the city. And just from that, if you want to do a history check, you can kind of figure out where he's at right now.
15.
15? You know of one place that uses changeling, that is run by changelings, and their whole motto is to give you what your heart's desire is. And you know this place as the Heart's Desire, deeper within the southern expansion of the city. And this place, they built it between two rather tall buildings with a bunch of tents and platforms, very makeshift, but very well designed to get you a bit lost in your pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
But also not to worry about too much about what's going on anywhere else, because you can't place where sounds are coming from. Very, very smartly designed.
Casino-y.
Yeah, but all tent walls and cloth and all that sort of thing. But that is what you go there for, is to get what you want or what your heart desires. And a lot of you have heard from other people from the Manganalar, as some of the guys will talk, that they can use detect thoughts if you wish to help enhance. Maybe if you've got someone who's feeling pretty guilty about a thing, but it also plays into a sexual fantasy, they can do that for you. Mm-hmm. Really anything along the lines. It's probably one of the few places that is outside of the reach of the beauteous few. And kind of proudly so, because the beauteous few are very specific on a particular type of beauty standard that this Heart's Desire doesn't care about nearly as much. They're in it for the patrons. So you know he's probably somewhere in the southern dispersion.
Yeah. So
After a nice, for him, a really fun night.
he's here and most likely trying to live it up with an image of my mom, probably.
Yeah, and you could probably tell from the vision that it approximates.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this is somewhat angering to you, that his vision is, whatever his vision of your mother was, is fading. That it's not like the details aren't that close to what you remember from your mother. So either he's remembering her very differently, or he's just had enough time away, or the fuckheadness of it.
Mm-hmm.
That it could just be that I like this part about your mother and this part about someone else.
Asshole. Awesome. Okay. Well, that's fun.
Yeah. And one last detail is, despite being naked for the most part, he's still in that robe, that starry robe.
Any stars missing? I don't know if I'd be aware enough to have.
That's not actually clear in the vision.
Okay.
You just know that you can see the kind of the glisten of the robe, and it's not specific
I don't even
enough.
know if I would have been aware enough to count the stars anyway, so.
The things that would have pulled your attention 100% would have been him, who he envisions, like who he wants to sleep with, and just trying to place it in the context of how close you are to it.
I remember you did. I think you did an Arcana check a while ago. You know what it does and what.
Yeah, I do, but that's what I'm saying is I don't think I would have had the awareness to even just like the passive perception.
Oh, to ask that question. I see what you're saying.
To notice how many stars there are in the first place and whether any of them are missing.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. The way he's resting on it, the stars would be more visible if he's fully robed up and the hood is up.
So he could be avoiding this area because maybe he knows that I'm here, or he could be avoiding this area because of another reason, or both. We'll see.
You get the sense that, given everything you've seen so far in this history of Scrying Cheshire and his bullshit antics, that he must be mad to be coming back to the city so often and not getting out with all the stuff he's pulled. There are some traits that you recognize in yourself sometimes of just, why not? I'll be good enough. It'll be fine. I can skirt it well enough.
I get the chaos from him, that's for sure.
Yeah. And a sense of devil may care. And yeah, that's where the vision ends. It's pretty uneventful otherwise.
Okay. Well, I know he's here, so that's fun. Okay, little things next. We'll do little thing. He has a +5.
Let's see. 8? Does an 8 do anything?
No, he needs to make more than 17.
Okay, yeah. Again, I say this every session. Like, it really shouldn't roll, but there's a chance with little thing that he might.
He's resisted me a couple of times,
Yeah.
so.
It's really Cheshire doesn't have it unless he bolts with the rope.
Yeah, unless he's in another plane, which he's done to me 3 times.
Yeah. And you see, let's see, what time is it? It's 7. Little thing in the servants' quarter, like the servants' area, they've got a nice kitchen with a table. They're letting him eat, or rather, he's chatting with the cooking staff, getting along with them quite well, even pointing a few things out and helping out and being very thoughtful and helpful. And they're just letting him partake of any little bits of food that he's interested in. And he seems to be acclimating to the room in a way that suggests that there's more going on. There's an intuitiveness that allows him to just pick any room he's in and be a part of it. And yeah, it's just a very basic tableau of cooks and servants all really enjoying his presence and him not intruding in any way, shape, or form despite his age. A kid this age would be obnoxious and running around. But your vision ends with him pointing something out that's starting to spill over on one of the stoves. That's where that vision ends.
Looks like the kid came by naturally what I had to work so hard to develop. Ugh. Okay.
Notes. Piss off Taslinn. That's really just any... I don't write down NPCs for Taslinn, so it's more like, what would make Taslinn frustrated and angry? That's not true.
Number 3 will be Nax.
Okay.
He actually, I think I told you a -15 before, but that's incorrect.
Oh, okay.
He is a -9.
A -9.
Yes.
And it has to hit a 17.
Yes.
He does not save. And as the mists reform your image and move to this new one, you see him in a lower area of the Carnival Mysterio with another drow, and they are sparring. They're in slacks, shirtless. It seems like they've been sparring for a while. They are sweaty. And
Do I know this other drow?
You do.
Is it Talanthane?
Yes.
Thought so. Mr. Number 2, Red Hand Man. Also a jerk.
Yeah, so yeah, the other drow sparring with Nax is Talanthane, who helped train you in more of your combat, hand-to-hand, more of the street smarts. You didn't necessarily get some of the more physical part of that from Nax, especially since Nax has always been preoccupied in that regard. But Talanthane has been very much your trainer, your personal trainer, but also not very nice. You've never...
Very dodgeball. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yes. And there you can see the age disparity in the two of them, and that Max is fairly old for a drow, but there's a lot more wrinkle. There's a lot more wrinkle to Townthane's skin, a lot more weathering on it. He is older, more weathered, more grim, more gruff, and he does stand out in that these drow of the Manganalar retire in death, and they retire young, except for Nax and Talanthane. But yeah, they're sparring, and it is rough. They're trading blow after blow, and it is vicious and violent and very street fighting. And you can't really you can't make out what they're saying just because of the noise of the fighting, the floor, and that's just not what your focus is on this particular scry. And yeah, that's what they're doing this morning.
So no indication that he knows if I'm here or not yet.
Not that you could tell. They seem pretty preoccupied.
Okay. And then for shits and giggles, just because I just saw her and I want to see what happened, we're going to do Esfel.
Okay.
She gets a... she's just a -5.
A -5? No, she still doesn't make it. It's helpful when you can scribe people who are close to you.
Yeah. Although she probably has because with Nax, it's not only do I know him really well, but I also have a possession of my tarot cards.
Right.
And then Cheshire, obviously he's going to have the least. But then, and so she just has, I know her really well. So she has probably the least detriment, while Little Thing has the best because I've never met him.
Right.
So.
Yeah, no, it's just like I've rolled low for it. Like the only issue is I've rolled low for him versus everyone else where I've rolled fairly decently, but then -9, then -5, -15. It's like everyone else you've scried, you've been very close to in one way, shape, or form. So, cool. She is currently traveling through the city in a similar pattern to how you travel through the city, in that sort of zigzaggy, not a straight line. Your sensor is following as best it can, and she's moving quickly enough to where there's a bit of lag as you try to focus in on what she's doing. You can kind of see her as she's walking past. She's rubbing at her eye a bit, and kind of you see that the way she's walking, she's in her mind, and very affected. Whether it was just seeing you or whatnot, I mean, you can make those inferences. But yeah, she is very emotional, not necessarily going in a destination, but she's sticking to very instinctual patterns that you recognize. And that's all the vision. She bumps into a random person, and no one seems to pay her too much mind.
Okay, cool.
And that ends the many scries of Taslinn for...
We just wasted an hour of the morning.
Yep. And so during that hour, as those things are just happening, you're still there with her with the sword out, just chilling. And better, you were still getting some food. If there's anything else...
40 minutes, yeah. I feel like I'm right about the time where I walk back in, balancing a couple of cups of bean water and, a small tray of muffins and fruit and things. And
yeah. And Eloy does a pretty decent job at her job.
Yeah.
whether she's angry about it or not. So yeah, you guys had some good food, some good bean water, and
What did we learn? Anything exciting?
Well, my dad's in town,
Ooh.
so that's
Do you think-
probably the most exciting thing.
Heading towards or away from Little Thing? Is this like an intercept situation that we have to? I mean,
No, he's down in. He's south of us. He's towards the bottom of towards the southern point of the city. Really around like the entrance area, coming
Yeah.
from the river. And the thing about that area is that it is quite literally, if you are coming into the city and you are tired and don't have any time, energy, or money to go deeper, you just kind of plop.
Sure.
And he is in the brothel-ish area around there, called Heart's Desire. Lots of changelings. They can quite literally give you anything you want.
noted.
So yeah, he's there, fucking changelings as either, a version of my mother,
Weird.
or a interesting little combo of the beauteous few up here as well as whatever he wants, I guess.
Oh, I never really thought about the mixing and matching. That's not a bad. Sorry, I'm mildly distracting. Mildly. I mean,
I just kind of give him like a little look like
I mean, no offense, obviously, but like, yeah, interesting.
I realize we all have pieces of other people that we like more than others, I guess.
No, I mean, really, just for the experience, right? I mean, if you could just cobble together, I don't know. Anyway, just will you?
Tassie might be talking about bits you don't have. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, we could magically figure that out too. I'm not opposed. Anyway,
I'm sure there's items out
We
there that
gotta-
would give me a dick. I'd be fine with it.
yeah. What are we talking about? Anyway,
Pretty sure there's a girdle or something. I remember it being very popular.
okay,
back in the day.
okay, straightens my tie. Yes, if you will, just if you could go through the through line again of remind me of what we've pieced together of the Cheshire to my aunts to the palace. Like, what's the Little Things story? Just the quick version. I remember Cheshire had him, and then we didn't take him. He was handed off to.
No, Cheshire handed him over more likely out of self-preservation
Sure.
and bartering chip, because that's what he does.
Right.
Quite literally the worst. And I think the thought was what we had pieced together, even though this is still very loose and we haven't put all of it together, is so Little Thing might be, and possibly me, through Cheshire, a descendant of Belial.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. Prophesied. Blah blah. That'll.
Yeah, and Fiernia is looking for that descendant as a way to, off him, so her reign on the throne is not challenged.
Sure.
And I would bet he handed Little Thing over, or even sold Little Thing to your family as a way to not only preserve himself, but even
Bargaining chip.
Yeah, bargaining chip.
With
Get himself
another
like a
level
little
of help.
leverage.
Sure.
And pit a family against another family.
Right. Perhaps tied to the fact that we think that Dispater's been kind of abjugating his responsibilities a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yes. Forming a narrative. Great. All right. So interesting. So you don't, but I mean, I just think as far as immediate actions, you don't think that Cheshire's going to try to get him back or
No.
renegotiate his deal with my family or
No,
anything where we need to intervene. He's
unless something else better comes along,
Right.
that would allow him to go back and be like, hey, sweeten the deal a little bit more.
Sure.
He won't go anywhere near it.
so he's half drunk and getting his nuts tickled is what you're saying.
More
More or less. Okay.
He has been following me.
Right?
That's been very clear. He popped off the plane a few times. Don't know what the fuck he was doing there.
Interesting.
don't know where he went, can't know where he went, but it's very clear that he's been talking to people that are in my past. And he has popped up in places that we have been in the pathway of following me around. And the fact that he's back here and I'm here, probably not a coinky dink. So maybe I don't know why the fuck he's following me. It could be, it's not like he's trying to come back into my life and be like, hey, let me be a dad now. Cause that would be, that'd getting kicked in the nuts real quick. But, I don't know. Could be any which reason. Off the top of my head, he might be coming to me or trying to get to me or something like that as a way to like sweeten the deal and get himself a higher stake. Who knows? But
Interesting. Anything else?
I mean, he's really attached to that robe. He stole it even though he was told not to.
Right. What do we know of the robe?
It's tell me if I'm wrong here. It's the robe of many stars.
Yeah, robe of stars.
Yeah. And that has an ability to was it teleport? My memory on this is
takes
so
you into
bad.
the astral plane.
Yeah,
There we go. Yeah. So
But you can't like go in, come out, and then enter out someplace else. Like
No.
you always come out where you went in.
yeah.
Right. So it's a quick escape hatch to wait out. It's not the
Some
perfect
bullshit.
Yeah. It's not a great way if you've got someone chasing you who's dogged enough, but
Oh.
Yes.
So it's a robe that you can use to pop in and out of the astral plane.
Right.
That might have been where he went.
It's the cabinet without the cabinet. Which
Do,
is
Exactly.
to just make sure we're all covered here, do an Arcana.
18.
Yeah, cool. The conversation can continue in this line of thought. I was like, you know what? Did we ever establish it? We knew that. So,
Right,
yeah,
so-
we're covered.
So perhaps he just dipped out, which would explain the scrying. Got it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because there were at least 3 times where it just didn't work. And I don't think he's, able to rebuff that magic very well. So he must have been in a different plane. And I thought maybe he went back to the Hells, but that doesn't make sense, especially if, Line of Belial, he'd be just as dangerous to Fernia too.
Sure.
I would say, Taslinn, you would know that in some ways this popping out and then coming back to the same spot has been okay for now in Skypoint because no one's really that patient for a shithead like Cheshire. So if someone's mad at him, they're not going to just stand there and wait for days. But it's only a matter of time before that changes. Like, that tactic is not the best. He stole it, found out what it can do, and it's just not a very strategic thing.
Well, I mean, he's hanging on to it like it's a lifeline right now.
Yeah.
So makes sense.
So there could be some misunderstanding of its value.
I mean, it's also like people are only going to be standing around waiting if they know where he went in. So like if he loses line of sight of somebody and then just runs and then just disappears, if they don't know what that robe could do, or if they don't know that it's a thing at all, they could think he just teleported or he went someplace else. Or
But he's here. Little Thing definitely seems to have a natural ability, which could end up in favor of your family if he continues to,
Interesting.
be around.
Yes.
And in direct threat to Fernia, as he grows older.
Right.
It's very clear that he your friend, Zephina, yeah, that's her name, Yewsiff.
Zephina, the gnome.
Your
Yes,
friend, her name is Zephina. Yeah. She said something about Little Thing being able to read thoughts.
Latent
Yes.
ability.
Yes, and it seems to be that he might even have a type of clairvoyance.
Ooh, okay, sure.
Yeah, he was able to kind of know. He insinuates himself in a space, and people, much kind of like me, just kind of blends in, and people welcome him in, and he kind of fits in and becomes part of it real easy. And today it even seemed like he was pointing out things before they would happen. like a basket falling off the corner of a table, being
Sure.
like, hey, basket's falling, like right as it starts to fall. So either he's very perceptive or he has a type of clairvoyance. But there is a natural ability there that could potentially develop into something huge.
Right.
So
Ticking magical time bomb of some sort. Got it. Well, what of today then? What is our best course of action to stave off the impending apocalypse? I did realize the other day that it's been several weeks since like a random ass portal of demons has opened up in our presence. So I don't know if we've helped push that back or if there's just one coming. I don't know.
Speaking of, just kidding.
boom.
God damn it.
The trigger was just waiting for someone to say where to go. No.
Yeah. You know, all that rift business.
Hey, John.
Yes.
It's not a very big long shot or anything. I want to do a knowledge history from the conversation they're having. If I ever heard of anything when I was in training or around the royalty of anyone of the caliber of what little thing might be becoming or destined to be, if they had ever talked about any type of being in that sense, like just eavesdropping, being around, like if anything sparks a memory.
Okay.
It's only a +1, but 11. Probably not.
Not really. Nothing so specific as some prophecy or some inkling. Or have you ever heard this trait that randomly gets selected through? You just know that sometimes infernal heritage can yield random results sometimes. Like in your guys' case, it's more well-rounded. You just have influence, but sometimes it can be a very specific, like, this is your thing is this. Your thing is mind stuff. But you haven't heard anything specifically along those lines. You just know that aberrations in the tiefling, the infernal heritage can exist.
Got it.
Well, I mean, we did have that prophecy from that Kania's son book.
Yeah, the one we retrieved at the Roche Day.
Yeah, I actually like pull out my journal and I'm like,
Yeah.
have it written right here. Flip through. Something about the Queen of Pain and Pleasure, Vernia, obviously. She'll spurn her lover and shall seed the hells with his ashes, Belial, because those two were fucking.
Sure.
She sells. She
Sells seashells down by the seashore.
Yeah, she sells
She's
seashells down
by
by the
the
seashore. Exactly.
Sure.
Sheesh.
She shall seek to replace him, but her replacement shall follow from his root, so a descendant of Belial somehow, which could threaten her ability to
Right.
maintain the throne.
Interesting.
A little bit of leeway there in how you can interpret that too. You know this.
Well, to the immediate business, we make sure Fernia doesn't get the boy. We figure out how we murder Bonham.
And the writers right now,
Right.
even though they are all of different levels of hell, they
Sure.
are being controlled, ordered, whatever you want to say, by Fernia.
Do we think that's the seeding the hells with the ashes? Perhaps? Maybe.
I don't
Maybe
think
not.
so.
Um,
I mean,
did their armor
if they are trying to kill all
Right.
of his spawn,
did their armor seem to be covered in seed? Sorry. Apologies.
they were not cummed on.
Apologies.
Like some kind of like
I don't know how you freaky fuckers do it
Like
down
some-
They were not cummed
us
on. Don't worry about that.
yeah, some like
No, I'm just
some
saying
jizzy plate mail you got there.
in Fairniaville. What is that? I'm sorry.
They looked real white. Okay.
Sorry. Listen, we started with changelings, and now I'm just properly distracted.
Right. I get that.
So to the immediate business at hand, then.
Do I need to leave?
No. Well, I mean, you don't have to leave. Sorry. No.
I just kind of wink at Yewsiff.
Sorry. Listen, I did not think this is how the morning would start. Or I can...
How it would finish?
All right.
Okay.
This coffee, I should have gotten it iced. It's too hot. So what the fuck are we doing? Like, okay.
Well, okay.
What do we want to do? What does anyone else want to do? Because otherwise I'm going to go fucking kick some house temper ass.
Yeah, there are a few things. There's what you want to do. I'm based off of Dead Bird.
Yeah.
That apparently,
Oh, yes. Right.
I'm just
that
growing
his
a
name?
menagerie
Is that what
here.
we're going
Apparently, according to him, and there does seem to be a pull that is starting to happen. I am clearly not getting on to that Raven Queen business fast enough.
Right. Well, what does that business entail?
Well, she was vague. It was something about like.
No.
I'm just staring at him.
He's staring back.
Boop. So she was real vague, and as per usual, something about taking care of souls, people, things. Being the hand of vengeance that she would have been. There's a couple. When we were in the rooftop garden, there was like one in one spot, and then one very clearly like, whoo, real big, bright, coming from Mortberg. Not surprising. So there's that.
Oh, like you're getting beacons. You're being summoned in a direction.
Yeah.
And
interesting.
Yeah.
And you remember it wasn't specific enough that like there's a spot right now that's having problems, go save it. It's more like trouble's a brewing over there in this giant haystack.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, those are things that we can do.
Right.
Don't have to. Seems like we can leave it alone.
Well, I mean, it feels like these big ticket things need some time to percolate, and we only just got here. I feel like I've checked something off of my to-do list. So if there's something Yewsiff, what's other than plotting ultimate revenge against your nemesis? Anything else? Any light shopping on your plate? Like anything else? Sorry, not to make light of the tragedy of your life, but just trying to contextualize what's going on.
John, remind me. Zephina told me that the last she had heard, the gnomes were like being used to mine the crystals, like what the hell are the blood gems called?
Oh, Skirl gems.
The Skirl gems.
Yeah, she inferred that was the case. Yeah, mentioned Skirl, I believe.
If there is anywhere near, well, actually, Taz, you might know this. Is there a spot anywhere in the city or near it where Skirl gems could be mined or have been known to be brought up from, or
John.
in your history of the city?
Do a history. This might be fairly like this might be after your time.
Yeah. Because I don't remember that being a thing. Nat 20, so 20... 20.
Yeah.
20.
I'll give you the address. No, you
22. There we go.
as part of the structure of the tavern, the Gaping Maw, there is a giant hole in there that leads you down into a vast, unexplored, somewhat explored undercity of Sky Point. All manner of rumor comes from there. So anything like that would be feasible.
Damn it.
And if anything were to be mined, it would be down there. I mean, Sky Point has commissioned some mining expeditions down there to find supplies and to more or less versions of success, but no one in the Sink or in Beauteous Few territory or any of them seem to really care all that much about those going on. Mm-hmm. It's just the weird place that daring people tend to go.
So then, Yewsiff, we're trying to procure more gems or secure them from other people, or what's that vibe?
That is where I think the gnomes from my home have been sent to work.
Right, so they're
and slave.
Got it. Shit.
And Taslinn, on your natural 20, this would come to you that in talking with Maz, the kind of your comrade in arms and the
Yeah.
Manganalar, you two got the shit kicked out of you by Talonthane in training quite often, and it was, character building. But he mentioned that he came from the Gaping Maw. Like, some of him and a few others have, that's how they got here from their various drow cities. It's an awkward situation and causes the Dominion Alliance to get involved when things incur from there. But thankfully, Nax and like the Mangalar were there to help with those types of things. So that's probably the main thing that comes to your mind now, just as you guys were having a moment to percolate on this. That I mean, the drow can get in from there. That's the easiest way, relatively speaking.
Yeah. Well, and one of the other spots was like the hay over here was the Gaping Maw. Yeah.
You also know that the Mangalar scoped that place out to a T.
Yeah.
You also another thing. I'm gonna give you a lot more with your 20 in terms of trying to get a sense of where to go and what to do in any sort of rumor mongering. You know the Mercurial Cabinet, although risky for that as well, being noticed, a much higher percentage of being noticed there, you would be able to get a lot of information from that.
Knew it. Okay.
So that's one avenue. The Gaping Maw is like that big, giant touristy spot that everyone has eyes on in the city. Everyone knows it. Everyone's there. Everyone's eyes are there, sort of thing. You're guaranteed to come across your old crew in some way, shape, or form, whether they're newer members of it or not. You're bound to be known there by everyone.
Well,
same with the cabinet, but the cabinet also has a lot more discretion.
That's why I hung out there quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as Yewsiff asked me, like, if I know anything, I just kind of take a second. And then there's a little bit of like, ugh, and kind of like slow eye close, head hang, just being like, yep. So there's a place not far from here called the Gaping Maw.
Sure.
That in the past, lots of people, there's a spot underneath it, leads into caverns, possibly leading into the Underdark, because drow would kind of come up sometimes as a like escape method.
Right.
Often used for mining. I don't recall any type of Skirl gem thing happening when I was here, but that doesn't mean that they couldn't have discovered it. And now there is a Skirl gem mine happening down there. That would be the place to do it.
Right.
But oh boy,
so
that is gonna be Hornet's Nest for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Your peoples? Or people who didn't like your peoples?
Well,
or both?
So the Gaping Maw is kind of like the central point for travelers and touristy people, like, come look at this cool thing. And so there's a lot of people in and out of the Gaping Maw on a daily basis. But because of that, and also because of the oftentimes the drow coming up from the Gaping Maw and stuff like that, the Mengen Alar do keep a close eye on the Gaping Maw, and so it's very possible that I could be recognized. It is also close enough to the sink that my name will come up just naturally with.
Sure.
They'll be like,
The Mengen
hey,
Alar
I recognize that as the devil of the sink. Yes, huh?
Mengen Alar are who again?
The Mengen Alar is a guild of drow that I worked with and for.
And your pal, not Nash. Nash?
Nax.
Nax. Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Nax Bridges.
Yeah, I was going to say Nash Bridges. So your pal Nash Bridges, yeah, which again, Silver Fox, I don't think I'm too far out of the... But your friend Nax here, Mengen Alar.
Yeah, he runs.
Smoking a pancake.
He runs them. Yes.
Oh, interesting. And then would explain some of your hesitance when we were trying to have dealings with the drow.
Well, those drow were
like proper old school.
Yes, and
Wolf drow.
One of the main things that so I in particular was a little bit of kind of a specialty agent for them.
Sure.
In particular because, not drow.
Yeah.
And then also female. the Menginular do not. They are only male.
Right, because matriarchy.
Yes, they are fuck the matriarchy, breakaway kind of thing. So I was special.
Yeah, okay. Well, we could always take this opportunity to walk the other way, make your deity happy, head to the Morkborg and just fuck up some dead shit, right? Or undead shit, probably. Or we could dive headlong into trying to rescue Yewsiff's kin, and possibly announce to everyone from your sordid past that you're back in town. Interesting. Fun.
Well, the longer we're here, the more likely it is that they're going to find out. And it also is very possible that they might already know. It just depends on whether Nax has found a new me.
So, quickly and circuitously getting into the maw, at least for some reconnaissance, to see if we can perhaps find the gnomes before you're made and they... But, I mean, would they even know that you are intending to have any business there? Or, I mean, what sort of opposition do we think they're going to immediately spring on us? Or is it going to be more of a conversation?
Not sure.
Yeah.
Did not
Fair.
leave exactly on the best of terms, obviously, because, I threatened the entire organization.
Sure.
But
I know how that is.
there is, I mean, if we want for sure knowledge, like a place to go to really find out whether the Yewsiff's people are down in the Gaping Maw would be the Carnival Mysterio. Sorry, I'm thinking of Nax. No, it would be the Cabinet of Curiosities, not the Carnival Mysterio. Nope.
The
The Mercurial Cabinet, right, which we know moves.
Yes, the Mercurial Cabinet. Thank you for that. Yes,
So
yes, yes.
So I should be tracking the cabinet? Starting to track the cabinet?
Well, if we want to go searching for it, then yes. Still going to get known there. A little bit more discreet for obvious reasons. But they would more than likely have the information of whether the gnomes are actually down in the Gaping Maw.
Sure. So before we show our ass at the Gaping Maw, and perhaps we find the cabinet. Mm-hmm. Interesting. I love a good scavenger hunt.
But the word of me is somehow going, whether it's the deeds we do, running into somebody, or Esvel, who already saw me, going and tattling.
I could probably also get a beat on our friends in House Temper at the cabinet too, so
Yep.
I'll
I mean, the cabinet does deal with information.
I will cast my vote in that direction if we're looking for something to do.
All right.
Or we could just go to the baths. Yewsiff, how was your bath? Was it good? Was it decent?
It was nice.
Yeah.
I can't remember from last time. I haven't made the connection that the chick she's talking about is the one that was in the bath with me.
No,
or the
not
one
yet.
that walked out. I didn't think so.
Thank you for not fucking her.
Yeah. No, you haven't pieced those details together.
It's really
think
sad that "Thank you for not fucking them" could be a branded Demon Days t-shirt.
Michael, you know what to do.
This is the content you crave, folks. We're happy to give it to you.
It was a very comfortable, cozy bath.
Well, I mean, I could.
Yeah, no, it was nice.
I mean, I'm already.
We know.
I'm already. No, I'm just like I've already got the cane. I'm doing like pits and tits. Like I'm trying to clean up a little bit. So I slept on a roof.
Taz, I mean, obviously you would be the best one to go to this place and ask these questions, but
Feder looks at you like, come on, bro.
well, I'm just saying she knows her way around. But what I'm asking is, like, do you have to go? Like, could I go by myself?
Again, come on, bro.
It's
Taslinn, I guess
not
do
me. I'm talking about the pious person staying in the palace.
Sure.
Is that something that would...
You are going to have a much harder time getting information. You would have to pay through the nose.
You're gonna look like a rube. Sorry, but I mean,
Well, that's fine.
yeah, but
Let's be honest, I am a rube a lot of the time. But looking like one and not drawing attention to you specifically and you so that you're not...
but again, like, generally, I don't care if people know I'm here. You know what I mean?
I just reach over and I put my hand on his knee and I'm like, Yewsiff, sweetie. Oh, those are pants. So
Thank
you will
you.
get
It's canon. Fuck all of you.
you will get noticed everywhere you go.
Why no?
But also, if we're trying to maintain this, the character, I feel like the character for Fee in the castle, like, if she gets word that you're hanging out in fairly unsavory places, I feel like we need to maintain a certain amount of mystique. Like, I feel like when you go out with us to do skullduggery, I feel like you need to disassociate yourself from Yewsiff the pious persona as much as possible, lest she get wind through some sort of other means that you are out, like, stealing and thieving or whatever. We have to kind of maintain some mystique around that character, you know?
And I mean, if you're with us, it can be very easily, we have the pious paladin as a bodyguard.
Right.
Versus if you're there by yourself.
Well, that's that is true. That's kind of the angle that I was looking at it. Like,
Or
I'm there to try and better the environment. I
or-
just don't know.
Yeah. Or Taz, do you think it's worth trying to disguise yourself in some way? I mean, no offense, but you have kind of a vibe.
I do I do think,
Speaking of which,
as much as like me being noticed could accelerate things in certain parts of the city,
Right.
I am probably the most beneficial help right now.
All right.
Yes, you will be able to get plenty of information without paying nearly as much through the nose as Yewsiff here will.
Sure.
And probably be able to, you know, make fast friends and really, really get it. But if we want any chance of getting a significant amount of information for free, let alone even a significant amount of information, that would be where I would come in.
Wonderful. All right.
would it be better if I wasn't there?
No.
Okay.
I just think you've got to, like, you know what I mean? Like, go to the character select screen and, like, pick the skin that's, like, you know, rough on the road Yewsiff, not like pious holy
pants.
avenger Yewsiff. Yeah. Dick out the whole time you're in Skypoint. No, I'm just kidding.
Then yes, I need to go shopping.
Really, you don't? Okay. Yeah. So, quick trip down to the shops. Oh, do you have something in the, I'll check the bag. Did you?
That's actually what I was going to say. Speaking of which, I
Oh,
looked
yeah,
at it this
didn't
morning,
you
but it's
do a
been
tabard?
it's been a minute.
Yeah.
I did. I did like cleric robes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's the opposite probably of what we.
Right. That's why I said I have to go shopping.
Right. So then
You put that in when you got here, though, didn't you?
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday,
last,
so
last-
not-
It's been
Yeah, with
overnight.
the cat-
Okay. It's
when
not
he
really
was up
Let's
at
not
the
bug him. Let's
castle.
not bug him.
Well, they seem to have fast turnaround on all your stuff, so I was just checking.
You know, it's
I mean, I did give them notes about what I wanted, so they're probably working on it
occasionally,
now.
you know, you pay for premium and. Sorry.
Well, we can go shopping. And
Elamon Plus.
in the process of shopping, we can look for the cabinet.
I've got various means of contacting criminal networks that are kind of a thing, so I can reach out fairly reliably and at least try to get a beat on where the cabinet last was. So, yeah, shall we to the shops? I'm taking that as a yes.
Sounds good.
Grunt once for yes and twice for no. All right.
All right, so you guys make your way out, and the street is moderately busy in front of this Nestled Rest, and the day's activities are starting up, and people are getting to their destinations for either work or what have you. Where are you guys planning on going first?
Well, we gotta outfit our friend here. And I
Outfit?
think on the way, I want to start trying to tap into that network of cants again, and look for any of the classic like informant signs.
So I am going to couple things. As before we leave, I specifically undo and rebraid my hair in a way that much like I wore it in the very, very beginning, where it would cover my horns pretty significantly.
Okay.
And then as we're leaving, I will take them. We're going to kind of stick to the Beauteous Few area. But like a tailor shop or a market to buy clothes for Yewsiff, because I feel like the raunchy options that might present themselves here will be beneficial. So, and I will do the zigzaggy pattern as usual, but keep away from the more busy streets, kind of like how I did in the morning.
Gotcha. And then, Feder, you mentioned you're looking for the cants and signs and things.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that would also take us through places that might have signs, too.
Yeah. Trying to use my, mechanically, trying to use my criminal contact feat from my criminal spy background.
Okay. Cool.
D&D Beyond. Anyway.
Any rolls you need to do for...
No, I mean, here, let me read
Awesome.
it. It just says, you have a reliable and trustworthy contact who acts as your liaison to a network of other criminals. You know how to get messages to and from your contact, even over great distances. Specifically, you know the local messengers, corrupt caravan masters, and seedy sailors who can deliver messages for you.
Okay. As you guys are traveling towards more Beauteous Few territory, getting a little bit further in there through your zigzagging, you start to see more of those cants and more drop spots from the types of people you would be seeking out. The streets are still a little sparse in areas to notice anyone in particular, any persons that would stand out to you, but you're seeing results of like some person had a drop here that tried to blend into the scenery in an alley, but that's where someone's picking something up.
Right.
And you see a few little, as you guys get closer to more of the clothing district of the Beauteous Few's territory, you start to see notes of mercurial cabinet was here,
right,
that are more fresh.
Okay.
And you're starting to get more of a trail that is starting to begin.
Right.
So you figure after this clothing situation, you'll be able to chart the path and probably catch up fairly quick.
Right on.
And yeah, you find a fairly unassuming building, a series of buildings, but in the middle is just a very basic cottage facade that, let's come up with a name for this. The sign, you see a silhouette of a warrior and kind of gruff, rustic male exterior, like something out of Shields or Dick's Sporting Goods, but it's called the Musty Fellow.
Musty.
Been called worse.
And you walk in and the place smells of sandalwood and oak and all of those smells just assaulting you. And
Speaking of language.
That's a lot of chambray. A lot.
And this is a lot more leather armors and scabbards and all sorts of
Perfect.
clothing that would reduce your AC a bit, but it's a little bit more geared towards city life and movement, but with an exaggerated masculine edge to it. But with a hint of immodesty, as Taslinn pointed out. Like they're kind of trying to hit two little avenues here.
So we're halfway to Leather Daddy, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
It's a little. We're going full.
Yeah.
Rob Halford, Biker Daddy Yewsiff.
Yep. With maybe a little lean more towards utility.
Leather hat with a chain on it.
Yeah.
You must be daddy.
Assless leather chaps, Yewsiff. That's very bold.
It's not.
Sorry, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Look, it's been a morning.
And greeting you as you walk in. Near the entryway, the doorway, there's this little wooden bird that kind of squawk, squawk. As like you've passed through the floor and there's like a little trigger plate that just signals guest.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a fairly stocky dwarf come out, clean shaven, tattoos where there should have been a beard, and he beams. Well, hello. Welcome to the Musty Fellow. You must be the Musty Fellow. What can I get for you?
I slap him on the back.
He's got a suit on with buttons almost all the way down to the navel, showing just a wealth, just an absolute buffet of chest hair, but all like very well groomed. Everything about him is fairly well groomed. What can I help you with?
I'm looking for something a little more city dwellish than what I have here. A little more low key.
Yes, well, looks like you were going for a very holy man thing, which does make you stand out.
Exactly.
Do take a look around. We have all manner of things. I can suit you up with something more specific. If you have any custom needs, that might take a little longer, cost a little bit more, but
Do you have a bargain bin?
there's a long pause. Considers. There is a less expensive section
No.
closer to the door.
Sorry. I should have phrased that differently. Do you have found equipment, stuff that doesn't look new?
That may have come to us not in perfect condition.
Exactly.
We do have a few of those. That's closer toward the back, off to the side. He points you down a particular alley, or not an alley, but a particular aisle of... It's 2 aisles, 2 sides of things that didn't quite pass muster in the quality control element. Etching is off.
I'm gonna roll an insight on this guy.
Oh yeah, me too.
15.
What are you trying to determine or figure out?
Where does he come from? Is he... You said he's fairly well groomed. He's got tattoos where his beard should be. Knowing what little I know of dwarves, like not having a beard is usually a status thing. Is he putting on airs, or has he always been this type of, like... Is he common, or is he uncommon?
He's a rare baby. No. He... From your inside of him, and what little you know of the dwarves, they generally are fairly proud of their heritage or their home that they come from. This one, he has scrubbed most of any visible clues off of that. So no beard, tattoos where they should be, so you can't even get a hair pattern. Very clean shaven, very smooth. And because of the way he's dressed, he's kind of separated himself from any sort of dwarvishness in terms of signage and any cultural elements.
Okay.
Whereas early back in the day with the dwarf that you met was very specific, and I'm drawing a blank on these names, but the guy who ferried you across
To the tower, yeah.
yeah, you could probably place where he belongs in the mountain if you were there.
Got
This
it.
not so much. He has unassumed his past, but not for any sort of like. It's hard to tell any sort of reason for that. It's just he is more happy doing this.
So I speak to him, and like I want to kind of change my body language and my just demeanor with him, coming from that angle.
Okay.
Like I'm basically using my 16 charisma on this to be basically like, oh, I shed who I was too, and now I'm just my own person. Like I wanna kind of gather that rapport with him a little bit as we're talking.
Yeah.
Just to see if trying to find allies in the city, and so this guy, because of like there's already common ground there, so he's gonna kind of lean into that a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. He picks up what you're putting down and starts to warm considerably. The earlier bit about the bargain bin thing, kind of, given the neighborhood that you're in, you don't know necessarily much about this particular neighborhood that Taslinn has brought you to, but there was a faux pas there in terms of just bargain bin. What you take?
Yeah, no,
for.
exactly.
Yeah. So to recover for that, just do a charisma.
Or-
Straight charisma, yeah, because it's not really a performance. You're genuinely trying to connect.
Yeah. Not great. I rolled a 6. That's just a 9.
9? It takes a little bit. As he's guiding you through this particularly abandoned aisle, he is pointing things out, and he's slowly warming to you. But it takes a bit, maybe 5-10 minutes of this as he points it off and like, if you need anything, just let me know. Anything custom. You seem like someone who is looking to change things up.
I am
Kind of break out of what you've been doing.
a little bit. I also don't want to lose this stuff. Do you have any bags that might be able to hold more than they look like?
Like, just really large bags.
Magical.
Oh, sorry. No, those are hard to come by, and I don't deal with that. All my stuff is much more made by hand, and doesn't have the kiss of magic on it.
Fair enough.
Keeps things simple for me, and I do like that. I like elegant and simple. And
do you make most of this yourself?
some of it I do. Some of the more stylish, and he pauses, more revealing stuff I tend to make myself.
I see.
That's if you're going for a little bit more of a chic look while still maintaining the ability to kick some ass.
I might be interested in some of that too, just not right now. So I'll definitely
Gotcha.
have to come back and take a look. But this stuff, and he points to like the barrel that's just like got all this shit. Like this is actually exactly what I'm looking for. And he starts pulling out like he finds a decent breastplate that isn't beat up, but then he wants to find like a shoulder pauldron or something to go with it that does not match. That
Okay.
looks like it's been looted off of.
You're definitely
corpses,
going to
off of.
get that. The
Yeah.
particular barrel at the end of this aisle is very much the DVD bargain bin at Walmart, where
Love
it's
it.
like you don't know if you're getting widescreen or flat, that sort of thing.
Yep.
And a lot of it is just copies of Big Daddy on DVD and not Blu-ray, right? So so you're going to get a mismatch of shit. You're not going to find any piece that matches with itself or that matches it. So you're in luck there. The things that are hanging in the aisles, and they're a little bit. This proprietor attempted to match things a little bit more. So you have a little bit more luck there.
Cool.
But nothing too hefty, nothing like metal, like plating or iron along those lines. All leather. All leather based and
Keep
padded
talking.
leather.
Got it. I'm going to do just a general investigation, perception. 14.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he puts together something that looks makeshift mercenary-esque.
Very good, very good. He kind of eyes you up and down. You could probably accentuate that with maybe some pieces over there. He shifts you a little bit to look around. This is going to be a little bit forward, but may I feel you to get a sense of...
Go for it.
And he feels...
Feder looks up from across the. Sorry, what?
And he essentially is trying to get a sense of physique and contour on your torso. You could probably get away with not anything here, any circles of the midriff. Like keep that open and breathable.
I want to think that you and I are just like peeking over.
Yeah, we're like peeking over some like racks,
a
and
rack,
I'm just like
yeah.
underneath with my breath going lower.
Yeah.
Or if you want to keep it safe there, this requires a little bit more agility. Granted, you lose out on some protection in a
Carpet.
fight. But there's also, you could have, there's some of the armor here that can have stylistic reveals and creases and things like that. That might kind of give you an edge.
Pinch.
Yeah. But worth looking at. Or if you want to stick with this is cool. But I do have to upsell you. This is...
No, absolutely, absolutely.
Those pieces, those more stylish pieces will run you a bit more. This is going to be fairly inexpensive. But I would recommend accentuating this with any other piece. And let you breathe a little bit.
And then what do you have in the way of a cloak that would offer some protection but also have a large hood? And he looks up like at his own horns. It's like something I could cover up with.
Well, there is a couple aisles over. We've got this.
Lead on.
Yeah, he guides you to there, and it's just an aisle of robes.
You actually hear me being like,
cloaks.
over here, Yewsiff.
Yeah, robes and cloaks.
Looking for the same thing.
All different sizes and styles. Anything you want. Basic. No etching on them. No discernible designs. In the kneel, everyone wants accoutrement on their robing and cloth. They want something to signify status or look cool. This is just straight cloth into robe and cloak. A green cloak is a green cloak is a green cloak. You can tell he wants to keep them nice. They are perfectly fitted for the different sizes. And he eyes you and then grabs a few to, here, you can try this, you can try this one. And they're pretty accurate to your size.
Okay.
A little bit more snug than just random old shopkeep. There's some work put into this, but the details, there's not detailing on there to make it identifiable.
Cool. Yeah, something that's high enough that it can go over the horns and like just kind of hide my general appearance is what I'm looking for.
What I can do is I can take this robe or this cloak that he gives you one, and then grabs one that's larger. Is we can do a hood swap. It might take me the afternoon. I've got a few other things I have to make, but I can swap-a-roo on this on a custom one for a little extra, and then that'll cover those things.
Great. And how much for all this?
If we're doing the swapping thing and the armor, maybe 60 gold.
Inside check. Natural 20.
Natural 20.
For a total of fucking 31.
Well, that's the 7 for a total of 7.
Say nothing plus nothing.
He's bumping. I mean, he's bumping the price.
I'm gonna look at him and just I'm gonna do some rich guy bullshit, right?
Okay.
I'm just gonna look at him and I'm just gonna clear my throat. That's all. I'm just gonna go, and then just like really, it's really, bro. Apparently, the two themes for the day are I'm sorry, what are we doing? And really, bro? Because I'm giving him. And again, toxic, like the hyper masculinity is not really Fetter's vibe, but I can go there if I need to. So I'm just gonna cock my head at him and go, really, bro? Like,
and he eyes you for a long second, and then turns back. It's just I have to run a business, but you know what? For you, and if you planned on being a continuing customer, I can bring this down a little bit. Maybe.
Okay, my new charisma check, since it's been a little bit, is a 19.
19. I sense a thing between us. I don't know what it means exactly, but maybe 30. Can drop it down to half.
I look at Yewsiff like, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, it's not fucking. This guy's got to eat too.
Yeah.
But Yewsiff
just kind of looks at him. He's like, 30. Okay. Tell you what. Let's split the difference. Let's go 45, and you bump me to the top of the list to swap this hood.
Awesome. Couple hours tops.
Okay.
And I do see you have some friends in here too. If you guys wish to have anything or purchase anything, you can. Or if you're just helping your friend out, thank you for bringing him to my humble shop.
I do pull a little hooded duster thing off of the racks. Very simple, plain black. And I'm like, this is all I need.
All right, yeah, 10 silver. That's fine.
I'm good. Sorry. No offense to your establishment here, but okay.
I flip him a full gold piece.
Okay. And he nods to Feder too, like, I mean, there's not much more work I need to do for that.
Yeah.
It's hard to improve upon perfection. And he gives you a smirk.
All right, Salty.
And a
I see
wink.
those rough hands. All right, calm yourself.
Do you need if you need to be fitted for anything of this variety, let me know. I can even enhance that nice suit you got with some extra padding and I mean, I can
any extra padding.
I can get it all souped up a bit.
Yeah. Well,
Consider it.
I'll think about it.
I'd be more than willing to help you.
I just kind of, as he's saying like extra padding, I just give Feder like a little hip bump.
And so our heroes are all ready to go and check out that mercurial cabinet place or whatever. Yeah, no, that sure sounds interesting. I'm just intrigued by that crystal ball. That's really cool. Being able to look in on people. Yeah, I mean, it's a tad invasive. I mean, you do raise a good point. So, are you gonna just stay here until next time? Yeah, that's the plan. Gonna sit right here with this big old jug and wait for that bullywug to come back and tell us more about these demon days.
Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Echo Chachi Niner.
That's the voice you're gonna go with.
No.
For, well, you should for
Which
Yewsiff.
one
It's
is
like,
better? 1 or 2? 3
1 or 2,
or 4?
3 or 4.
I can't help but sigh exasperatedly at Taslinn and Feder and their shenanigans. Why would they leave me at this bed and breakfast?
Excuse
By
me,
myself.
sir. I'm curious. Are you wearing pants?
God damn it.
Or are you poo bearing?
I am bearing nothing. Oh my god.
All right, I'm going to give you guys a little, just a bullet point of what happened last time, just so also to reignite things for me.
Which, by the way, did you want...
You do that voice too? Sure.
Everyone.
We'll see if all my preparation was enough. It's a bit of a different beast preparing in an urban city.
Oh, yeah.
Versus a linear dungeon.
Hey, John, is there all of the everything? Can I do all of the everything?
Yeah.
Can we do it all? Can we split up? Here's an idea.
All of the each.
We're gonna split up and each do all of the everything.
Are we all ready?
I think we are.
I just want
I swear to God, if that is not your next facade or
Oh, yeah. Next character is just gonna be a Warforged that used to just be like a public like
oh my God.
customer service.
No, I meant like alter ego
Oh,
of
alter
Feder.
ego
That's
Feder?
like, yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
it's his new disguise.
If you give me
setup.
the right opportunity, I'll definitely do that.
sweet note. Look up opportunities. Work around this. Okay.
You're like,
You
"Where
motherfucker.
did-"
You motherfucker. Let the man narrate without fucking squeezing a giant plastic tube.
Welcome to the ASMR D&D podcast. Okay, then, yeah, you make your way to your room in the Nestled Rest, having just contracted Eloy on a really interesting anger management.
Cobalt.
Apparently, the universe does not want John to narrate and start this.
You know what?
Clearly,
Damn it.
clearly, this is just a precursor for how spicy it's gonna get.
Friends, fiends.
Fiends.
Friends, fiends.
Okay, are we good? Are we good, Kobold?
Take 3.
All right,
Suck
take
my
3.
jug.
Back to one, everyone. Here we go.
My alchemical jug. You guys make your way to your room from within the Nestled Rest.
What the fuck is happening?
Clearly, we need more Ron Swanson.
Quiet, all of you. Everywhere. Calm down.
Taslinn. Oh, God. We are never going to get through this, guys.
Okay.
All right.